Okay, so I'd like to next speaker, and this is Dr. Windell Rivera. Dr. Rivera serves as co-editor of the Philippine Science Letters. He received his PhD in medical science, molecular and cellular microbiology from the Institute of Tropical Medicine, Nagasaki University, Japan in 1999. Currently, he is Professor 12 at the Institute of Biology, College of Science, UPD. He was conferred the title, of UP Scientist 3 by the UP in 2018 to 2020. His research interests include protozoology, applied bacteriology, molecular diagnostics and epidemiology, and medical biotechnology. He was recently elected as academician of the National Academy of Science Technology, Philippines. Dr. Rivera, please.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank the hosts of this session, Dr. Giselle Concepcion and Dr. Asuncion Raimundo, for inviting me to give this talk about the Philippine Science Letters, its achievements and challenges. I will talk about the history, in particular the evolution of the journal, the relationship of PSL and PAASE, and the ways forward. As you are aware, this journal is a relatively young journal, 13 years old to be exact. The first issue was released in 2008. It is a peer-reviewed, online, open-access journal that showcases science done in the Philippines and science done by Filipinos elsewhere. Research results relevant to the Philippines and the region done by non-Filipinos are also welcome. The PSL publishes research articles, solicited review papers, commentaries, letters to editor, position papers, white papers, popular science articles on science and technology topics, including science policy issues and feature articles. Submission of news reports of scientific meetings or events is also encouraged. From time to time, PSL features articles on prominent Filipino scientists and their work. PSL also includes brief summaries of newsworthy science articles from other publications. Note that PSL accepts articles in all fields of science, ranging from natural, physical, to social sciences, agriculture, health, education, and others. Now, let's talk about the history of the journal. It was Dr. Giselle Concepcion who conceptualized it. At first, she proposed to establish a PAASE journal that would serve as a vehicle to feature the collaborative work of local and foreign-based PAASE members. Unfortunately, she did not get the approval of PAASE to create the PAASE journal, but that did not discourage her to pursue her goal. She convinced Dr. Eduardo Padlan, world-renowned structural biologist and molecular immunologist, to become the first editor-in-chief and launch its first issue in 2008. In the very first editorial written by Dr. Padlan, titled "Proud of Our Science and of Our Scientists," he emphasized that the science that PSL would publish shall meet the usual standards of good scholarship. To ensure that PSL would be accessible to as many Filipinos as possible, Drs. Padlan and Concepcion decided that PSL should be an online journal and that it should be free to readers as well as to contributors. They said, "Those of us who have had the chance to listen to our scientists or read about their work have the reason to be proud. Through PSL, we hope that we can share that pride with our fellow Filipinos." Sometime later, As the workload increased from the growing number of submissions, Dr. Concepcion became co-editor of PSL. PSL grew from 9 articles published in its first volume in 2008 to 46 articles published in 2014. The science that PSL published met the usual standards of good scholarship. That is why it was eventually listed in ISI under zoological records. And for this reason, among all Philippine journals, the United States Agency for International Development, Science, Technology, Research, and Innovation for Development, or USAID STRIDE, chose to support PSL, retain its mission, and expand its coverage to become the International Journal of Philippine Science and Technology, or PhilSciTech. In the editorial written by Dr. Concepcion titled Birth and Rebirth of Philippine Science Letters and Growth of Philippine Science, which was released on March 2, 2015, she highlighted that while PSL addressed the needs of a young, growing scientific community, PhilSciTech aimed to link the scientific community to industry and the rest of Philippine and social and global society, something that USAID STRIDE knew was essential in stimulating socio-economic growth in the country. So in early 2015, the first issue of PhilSciTech was released. As I mentioned, the transition from PSL to PhilSciTech was supported by USAID STRIDE. STRIDE was a 5-year, 1.3 billion peso initiative by the USAID to spur inclusive economic growth by boosting science and technology research. In its inaugural issue, Dr. Concepcion and Dr. David Hall of STRIDE wrote an editorial saying that USAID STRIDE would support PhilSciTech for the succeeding 3 years until 2018. With PhilSciTech operating for nearly 2 years, Dr. Concepcion obtained feedbacks from local researchers who expressed strong preference for the journal's name, Philippine Science Letters, and for PSL's more formal scientific format. That time, in early 2017, I was invited by Dr. Concepcion to serve as one of the co-editors with her and Drs. David Hall and Mark Robson of USAID STRIDE. Together, we revived PSL, returning to what was essentially good. With the financial support of USAID STRIDE, the submission process of PSL improved. Beginning 2018, for nearly 3 years now, submissions to PSL and review of submissions are mainly being done using ScholarOne online manuscript management system. It greatly improved and hastened the review process. When a manuscript is submitted, a co-editor reviews the paper, decides whether it deserves further review or not. If the decision is to subject the paper for review, an editor in charge or EIC is identified. In turn, the EIC invites 2 to 3 reviewers. The EIC may also serve as one of the reviewers. The EIC then makes the final decision whether to accept or reject the manuscript for publication. All of these are done through ScholarOne. With the system described, PSL is able to publish high-quality articles, from research articles to review papers to feature articles and more. Beginning 2018, PSL partnered with the Philippine Society for Microbiology to release an annual special issue on microbiology. In 2018, 9 papers were accepted, and in 2019, 8 papers were accepted. The release of these issues coincided with the annual scientific meeting and convention of the PSM held in July of each year. Today, I am happy to launch the 2020 special issue on microbiology. Since we are currently experiencing a unique situation, PSL, with the approval of the PSM Board of Directors, decided not to limit the number of articles to be included in the special issue. So if you will check the PSL website today, you will see that there are 7 articles included in the special issue. With the consent of authors, more will be added in the succeeding months to this special issue on microbiology. Now, let me take this opportunity to invite other professional organizations to partner with PSL in coming up with special issues in your field. PAASE members with research networks on a particular field of science composed of Filipino scientists and foreign collaborators may also want to produce a special issue with the PSL. Kindly submit your proposal for review and approval of the PSL co-editors. I am also pleased to announce the upcoming launching of the e-book to be published by the PSL in the days to come. The PSL partnered with known phycologists in the country to publish the book Methods in Microalgal Studies. This e-book is edited by Professor Emeritus Milagrosa Martinez Goss of UP Los Baños, Professor Nerissa Torreta of UP Los Baños, and yours truly. Now, what are PSL's goals? First, it is our long-standing goal to have PSL indexed by Web of Science as SCI and/or Scopus. We are still working on this. To achieve this faster, we encourage PAASE members to consider PSL as venue of their research works. Also, PAASE members were tapped as members of the editorial board. It is also our aim to review the membership. Some may have been wanting to step down, hence it's high time to invite new members. Third, as I said earlier, PSL is willing to partner with professional organizations and collaborative research networks for special issues in different fields. Lastly, in view of the close relationship of PAASE and PSL, we aim to once again propose to make PSL as PAASE Journal. We acknowledge USAID's stride for financially supporting the Scholar One system of the PSL, Richmond Pancho, our hard-working content manager and layout editor, for designing the PSL website and for formatting manuscripts with meticulous attention to details, Edwin Abaya of Chicago, USA, for helping us with the language editing of accepted manuscripts free of charge, the invited editors in charge and reviewers for their willingness and hard work to review the manuscripts, and of course, the authors for trusting us with their manuscripts. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rivera, for that informative talk about PSL.